it's gonna be all about the X100V from Fujifilm, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience and what I shot with this camera. Did I shoot portraits? Did I shoot landscape? Whatever. And also some video materials so you can have some reference of how this camera looks. And if I am happy with it, I'm going to talk about the pros and the cons of this camera. So let's start with the video. So let's first talk about the pros of this camera. And at first I want to say my first point is the build quality of this camera, the looks of this camera is just so fine. It feels so good in the hand. You know, you want to take it and take photos with it, and that's basically what it should be about when you have a camera. Otherwise it will settle on some dust in the corner, and that's not what we want. We want go out and take photos with it and just have fun. And this is maybe the key of this camera, having fun and getting perfect results out of it. You know, when you look at the pictures in the moment, you set some Fujifilm recipes, for example, and the pictures, they turn out just beautiful. You don't have to edit them. You don't have to, you know, if you don't want to, you can take them and post them on Instagram or post them on whatever and send them to your friends and family or print it out. It's just so good. And that's obviously with all the Fujifilm cameras. That's why I love them so much. You know, if you don't want to, you don't have to edit the RAWs all the time. You just get out, take JPEGs and be happy with it. And that's, I think, a huge point for this camera. Next, I talk about the sensor in this camera. It's just the same as in the X-T4. So you get a small size camera and image quality like from the flagship of Fujifilm. That's insane, you know. And people don't believe it. They think, oh, it's a cute camera and it looks so nice and small, and can it take good pictures? And yes, it can take good pictures, really, really good pictures. So don't be afraid of shooting with this camera. You can print those pictures in fine, really fine quality, and you know, you can take it on vacation, on road trips, on whatever. You can take it into your city and just take photos. Or for me, the most important point is portraits. So how does this camera perform in taking portraits? You know, all I can say is I was really, really happy with it, with the results. They were just gorgeous. So you can also focus really, really close to the subject, so you can almost like macro style images. You know, you have like the f2 aperture, so you can have a really nice shallow depth of field. Obviously not like a lens like the 56mm, for example, from Fujifilm, but you know, it will work and it will look really, really fine. Also the eye autofocus works, you know, sometimes laggy a bit, but you know, if you focus with your single square, almost no issues with it. You know, it's a Fujifilm focus system. It's not as fast as Sony's or maybe Canon's, but if you take your time and you guide your subject or let the subject flow, it will, like, you know, you will get some really great shots with it, like 85% in focus. So if you know how to manage this camera, you will get great results with it. So let's start to talk about the negative sides of this camera. One, I have to say, is when you take a lot of pictures in a short amount of time, there will be some buffering with the photos. So if you take, for example, like 10 to 12 pictures in like right behind, it will take some time to load the pictures, and in this time you can't take photos. So you have to wait and then go ahead and take photos. You know, this could be an issue for if you plan to do this, use this as your main camera, and for example, like a Fujifilm X-T3 or X-T4, they won't have that issues with fast memory cards, which you can't put in here. So I have that issue with this camera, but it's not really an issue for me because I just take like 5-6 photos and then I just change my position, and then you have some time with it between, and so no issue for me. But if you're gonna use this as your main camera, be aware of that, and then you're gonna be fine. Also, one downside of this camera is the price, obviously. You know, it's not that cheap. Is it worth the money? For me, yes, because I think money can't weigh out the pictures that I get, because these are memories I have forever, and if I didn't have this camera, maybe I didn't have the pictures that from special moments or whatever, and you know, so it was worth for me. Of course, not everybody can afford it, so there are more cheaper versions of this camera, for example, like the X100F or you know, the predecessors, and you know, you can also take them and be happy with them. And for me, it was like, it has the same sensor like my main camera, and that was really what, you know, why I bought this camera, and so as my second camera. So I am 100% happy, and I can recommend this camera 100%. It's just amazing. I don't have any words for it. It's just perfect, like the way it is. So that was my video. Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, a thumbs down. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, I invite you to do it and support my work. So I'm looking forward to see you, and bye.